makes artists now like realize how far they could take it.
Anybody thinking about going back to Africa?
Oh, I've always wanted to go.
Guess where Egypt is, people?
In Africa.
Africa.
I'm kind of like, I don't want to go anywhere where Black people are not liked.
So you just want to be in places where you're celebrated.
Hello, welcome to another episode of A Maven's Tale. I'm your host, Kaya, and I'm here with my sisters today. We have a new face today, but not new to us because she's the baby of the family. Yvette is here today.
Hello, everyone.
We also have Keish. We got Cho. And we got Shana. Boom. All right, so before we start, I want to just say that Breonna Taylor's murderers have not been apprehended and jailed.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. So since we're on the Black Lives Matter movement, we are talking about Black is King today. Yes. We have a new movie that came out on the 31st, and Beyonce, in my opinion, has done the doggone thing. But yet she has received a lot of backlash from everybody and their mama. So really quick, let's just talk about that. All right, so y'all saw Black is King. What did you think?
It was amazing. It was amazing. Beyonce did her thing. Everything was colorful. You know, one thing about Beyonce is she's an entertainer and she does everything perfectly. I mean, she's not a perfect being, but you can't really dog out anything she does. It was amazing.
Her attention to detail, though.
Yeah.
Like every piece of clothing. Like I was like, ooh, like every piece of clothing said something. Like, yeah, she did it. She did it.
I was like, who's the clothing designer?
Yeah. Right? I was like,
But there were different designers that she used.
Yes, she did.
Down to the shoes, to down to the barefoot, to like. Bruh.
The budget.
Well, let's give June Ambrose her just due.
Okay.
The budget. Wait. The budget.
The budget.
Oh my God.
There was Disney budget.
Oh my God. There were scenes where like it might have been just one little quick 5-second scene, and it might have been 100 people wearing the same suit.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Did
And
y'all
I'm like,
see that purple suit at the end?
yes.
The choir, you know, the choir part was my best part. My favorite part. Promise you, if I was in that choir, I'm just saying.
Did you see her abs in that yellow top as it panned up to her singing spirit? I was like, she had twins.
And look at her.
And I don't know if you saw it, but she wasn't afraid when they did the first two numbers and she was dancing with, and you saw her thighs, you saw that she had cellulite. And I was just happy that she didn't try to cover it.
Airbrush it.
Yes. I was like, yes for the cellulite. Even Beyonce has it.
Because we all know a lot of
We all got it.
Because everybody tries to portray this perfect body, you know, and it's just like, no.
Well, remember, she has daughters, right? So she has to now put that image out of what a natural body does look like.
Right.
I agree.
You know, everyone isn't a size 0.
That is true.
I have what's the word? I have a lot of moles on my chest. So those are one of my things, like my character defects. Like I'm like, oh my God, I hate to show my chest because of my moles. And when I saw Black is King, she has a lot of moles on her chest too. Yeah, I probably didn't peep that out.
All right, so Africans from the continent, a lot of people in America, a lot of people all over the world got something to say about Beyonce and the portrayal that she did to her Lion King soundtrack in this movie. They saying she raping the African culture.
Well, like I mentioned to you guys a couple days ago, like I said, it was beautiful, amazing. I have no issues with the film, but I knew within 20 minutes of watching the film that a lot of Africans were going to be very upset with watching this film. The African continent has many cultures, And like I said before, growing up, my girlfriend who was Puerto Rican, she hated the fact that every Spanish person walking the earth was considered Puerto Rican. And that's how Africans feel. And they feel like Beyonce just took all the cultures in one pot and stirred it up and said, okay, this is Africa. Mm-hmm. So that's why a lot of people have an issue with the film. Like Wakanda, a Black Panther. A lot of people had an issue with Black Panther because they felt like it was not a good representation of Africa.
But it was such a great boost of confidence for Black Americans.
Right. And like I said before, it was an hour and a half. Like, can we give the girl some slack? She tried the best that she could. Like, come on.
But can we go back to the fact that the soundtrack was from The Lion King? So it went with a movie.
Right.
I think that people didn't really understand.
Get that? But she had James Earl Jones as Mufasa.
No, but I think, again, remember the correlation. They didn't understand. And I think it was timing, the timing of Black is King being released and The Lion King release, and the fact that it was titled Black is King and not the same title as the actual soundtrack for the movie. Mm-hmm. So I think
she did have the same
it was the same song.
The monicum, the whatever that logo is. She had that.
Sometimes you have to sometimes we have to give things to people in the simplest form so that they get it. So if you keep hearing Black is King is coming to Disney, Black is King is coming to Disney, people didn't realize that it was just the visual of the Lion King soundtrack.
Like, I feel like
thought it was something else.
Yeah, I think if she put in the beginning, nah, Sawanya, they probably got it.
You're right. They probably
like, oh, she didn't have that in the beginning. That's why she should have put it.
Or if she had a tiger or lion or tiger.
Or she had like the animation going into like a real, like the realistic thing. And it'd be like, oh, okay, I get it.
But she did have a somewhat of a Rafiki.
Yeah.
Before they went and he was like,
right.
But again, it was a lot of the advertisement. Black is King is coming to Disney. Black is King is coming to Disney. Black is King is coming to Disney. People didn't realize that Black is King that is coming to Disney is the visual to the Lion King soundtrack. It's not like when Lemonade dropped. And, it wasn't that. It was a video, it was a visuals to a soundtrack that came out last year.
But people also didn't appreciate the fact that it was on Disney Plus. Why did she put it on Disney Plus?
And that's what I go to. I think I spoke to you about this, Kai, today. I love the whole, tribute to Africa, all of that stuff. But I don't think it should have been on Disney Plus. I don't.
He's big, but she ain't as big as Disney. And she probably had no choice in that matter.
Yeah.
Because Disney owns Lion King.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I'm talking more on the fact that maybe I'm just, I was taught to like cover yourself. I was like,
you've been colonized.
I've been colonized where I don't want my children looking at ass shaking. I don't. And there was some booty shaking there.
She told me that earlier.
There was some cleavage and all this stuff there that I was like, is this appropriate for Disney Plus?
That's why
this is my response.
That's like her and the trooper in the Marin Sarah bodysuit.
Wait, who?
Oh, sorry, throughout the designer. Just skip that. But the bodysuits that they all had on.
So bougie.
Okay. Anyway, I get what you're saying, Yvette. Some of it could have been sexualized, and we don't want our children to see that. And if your kid does, the kids know how to go to Disney Plus on their own. So you as a parent may not want your child to watch that. But again, you can put parental control on too. So,
but see, this is what I was telling E. If she was in whatever country, you know, our lineage is from, I'm not going to throw that out there.
That's what they
what
do.
we do.
That's part of the culture.
Colonization has demonized the female body.
Right.
They ain't thinking like that over there.
Nope.
That's because we sexualized a female body and the way we move. Even when we were talking about the whole Shakira thing the other day, Cho, that's synonymous with African beats and
right.
the way you move. That's just a second nature to you. So the fact that, you know, you're like, oh, well, I don't think it's for kids because it was a lot of booty shaking.
That's what they do.
Mm-hmm. So that's
but think about the circus. In the circus, the women, some of them are half naked.
That's true.
Yeah, but they ain't doing get loose.
Yeah.
She churchy. She true churchified. She has been conditioned. She has been conditioned, and she has not got out of that churchy mode. But before she even knew what a church was, she was African.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not gonna bash my little sister.
Right, and I'm trying to be nice. I'm like,
I'm just saying.
No.
But that's what a lot of, because that's what, right. you know, church is alone. But like I said, I'm not a beehiver, but I can respect and I can admire the fact that she, in my opinion, she put her foot in that adaptation to the Lion King soundtrack and then added the extra blackness on top of it to show, okay, we are, you know, this is our ancestral plane. She was just like divine architect. Some of the stuff that she even said, I was just like, yes, honey, spit that fire, you know, and that wasn't a part of the soundtrack. She added that in, and I think she added that in to show us, I just want to show you a glimpse of African culture, whether it be Ghana or whether it be South Africa, whether it be Zimbabwe, whether it be Morocco, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Who knows where she was? But even like some of those shots that they got, I'm like, the way it zoomed out and you saw like the desert, or I was just like, that is amazing.
It was the picture. It was the picture that we should have seen on the TV screen when we were growing up, and not the picture of the kids with the flies.
Right.
And the big tummies.
Right. And
that's the picture that we should have seen on television, because had people saw that image, they would have looked at the continent in a different way and had a different understanding of where we originate from.
But just like you were saying earlier, Keish, that a lot of Africans had an issue with it, but we as Black Americans don't have that. You know what I'm saying? So anything that we can grab onto to show us something from anywhere near our homeland, we're just like, I want it, you know, give me more, I want more, because we have had such a drought and have such a disconnect to our heritage. And the fact that people are saying how now everybody want to tap into their African roots because there's money to be made. No, now we just have access to DNA testing.
Right. And I think it's just more of because of what's going on in society today. There are some Black people that are ashamed to be Black because of what's going on. They don't know, you know, that they're from kings and queens and stuff. So I think now is more of a time to like, yo, let me tap into that. Like, I want to see how they originated from us. We didn't originate from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were the kings. We were the true Hebrews, or how everybody wants to say it. Like, it's just more of a like, yo, I'm proud of where I'm coming from, even though like they're shooting us, killing us in broad daylight, getting no justice for us. Like, why not be proud of where we came from?
But, you know, I guess for us who were born in the 60s and 70s, we can actually say it's a resurgence of a time that we did live through before, because we know when we were growing up, that's all our parents pushed in our heads
every day.
You know, that's what we were taught. That's what it was embedded in us. And then we start to see it fizzle.
Mm-hmm.
It fizzled in a sense of it went back to a way where some people were afraid to acknowledge who they were. And I don't know if it was a thing of they didn't have anyone to teach them who they were and to appreciate who they are and where they come from. You know, we saw a period where people started taking the white Jesus picture out of their house because there's no way that Jesus is a white man with blue eyes and long hair when he was a woolly textured hair person. It
don't mix.
It just don't make
sense.
So yeah, there was some of that still lingered, and you know, the appreciation was there. What we are seeing now, though, is a lot of the negative stereotypes that were put out there of what African and what Africa look like and what African people are and, you know, who they are. And, you know, all of these years of, you know, the Shaka Zulus, they just want to put you out as a person with a spear looking to kill everything. You know, the Tarzan, as I said before, Tarzan and the jungle swinging, you know, those were Shaka Zulu, yeah, good, but not good, because it only showed the warrior side to us. And not everybody understood the warrior side. They looked at it as a negative and not as a positive. So that we come from a line of warriors. Yeah. We've always been a strong people. So I can't say that I did appreciate the visual in that sense, but I can also understand where some people do have a critique when it comes to Africa not just being just one place. You know, not,
I think they didn't even. I think the people that are saying that didn't even look at it, because she had people from all over. She showed people in salon. She showed people with khakis and you know, with the hair braided or you know, dancing in the street. So she showed like the shanty towns and stuff like that. So she did have an array, but you got 50 plus countries. How you gonna do all of that in an hour and a half?
Well, right, but again, we see it that way. We see it because we have a different understanding.
What, we see it logically?
I don't want to say it that way because I don't want to say that someone isn't seeing it illogically. They're just seeing it the way they see it, only because we do know that not everyone does understand that Africa is a continent. They just think Africa is a country and that's it. Not that it's a continent with countries in the continent. And
so
we know that.
Let me ask a question. Do you think that Africans want Black Americans or Black people all over the world that are not in Africa, do you think they want us to acknowledge our roots? Or do you think they want us to just
like it, just to meet?
Yeah.
And I'm not doing a broad brush, but I'm saying as far as the people, the squeaky wheels, it doesn't seem like they want us to come back home. But I forgot who said it. But somebody said that obviously when we were taken, somebody had to know, oh, Timmy didn't come home, you know?
Yeah.
How come there wasn't a coalition that didn't get together and say, you know what, this is unacceptable. We're going to get our peoples.
Exactly. And I had mentioned another time that growing up, I was told as a kid that not all Africans, so please, you know, any African that's watching this, please don't take it as we're just classifying all Africans in the same boat. That's not it. But growing up, I was told that in general, Africans looked at Black Americans as diluted, excuse my French. So, you know, and like you said, they never came back to get us.
They ain't been out no search and rescue.
Who didn't look at Black Americans as diluted?
They definitely do.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I think everyone has given Black Americans the.
It's bad. It's
But
bad
Beyonce,
and we're lazy, and
exactly.
you know, and it's just like, how we lazy? Like, yo, we built this damn country. Like,
We paved the way for you to come, so you can become a doctor.
Right. They say go back to
Man,
where you
we lazy.
No, you go back to where
Isn't that so funny? Isn't that so crazy how in America we hear go back to your country, but then what country is it that we're going back to?
They don't want us either.
It's so crazy when you really sit down and think about it. It's like we really don't have a home. We don't. Where's our home?
Beyonce said that. They were just like, if I can't see my reflection in anything, well, there was some people that were like doing sound bites during each song.
Yeah.
If I can't even see my reflection and I can't see me, then how can you?
Right.
And then you know what? That's where we have to put aside the critiques, because we do know that representation and visual positive representation means so much.
My sons, both. My oldest son said it makes him love Black women even more.
Sorry.
My youngest
because
son,
we know the Black woman has never
she's never been appreciated. My youngest, he's like, can you play because he loves the one with Blue Ivy in it, Brown Skin Girl. He loves that. And he just wants me to play it over and over and over again.
It was funny because I called, like, right when they were watching it one day. And he was like, you interrupted this song.
He's like, we'll call you back when it's over. But we have to listen to the song again.
I'm struggling trying to understand how little girls get ideas of what's acceptable visually and what's not acceptable, because with she could sing Brown Skin Girl, and we embedded in her head, you're a little black girl, little black girl, little black girl. But there were times when I catch her saying little things, I'm like, where the heck did she get that from? Like, how does she not? She understands the difference in complexion and notices that she's a lighter tone than someone else. And I've heard her make statements like, oh, well, she's Black or he's white. And I'm like, why do you associate it as something other? How do you get that? Because that's not what you're being taught. We're not teaching that to you.
They pick up on it even if it's not said. It's the unsaid things that they pick up on. And it's the same thing with him.
You know, even she spends a lot of time in an African home. A lot of her time is spent in an African home. But she can still say, I say, but I'm not African. I'm like, no, you are. Like,
because somebody told her that it's not beautiful.
Sorry?
Somebody told her it's not beautiful.
You know what's scary?
Who could have told her
TV.
that? Because
TV.
Or the kids.
TV. Because that is not what you are taught in any of the homes you enter.
Like when Maven was 5 years old, and she might have been younger than that, and noticed that her complexion was different from her sister's. And I remember I was bathing her, and we never spoke about complexion in our home, never. And I was bathing her, and she said to me, "Mommy, why is my color not like my sister's?" And of course, I had to do the talking. You're beautiful. All three of y'all are beautiful. There's no difference between your skin tones, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it caught me off guard because we never spoke about that in our home. But she noticed that her little sister and her older sister both were lighter than her. it had to be TV.
Yeah.
It had to be.
I definitely got that growing up. Like, I'm too light skinned to be black, and I'm too dark skinned
to be white.
To be white, because I've been called the N-word on multiple occasions. And I'm just like, oh, so y'all do see that I'm a black woman.
He was like, hey.
Right, but on this side, sometimes I get, oh, you're not one of us. You didn't have the same struggle as we have. I'm like, but they just call me the N-word.
Because that's that whole light skin, dark skin.
Yeah, the colorism.
We're still stuck on that, and it's so sad that we're in 2020 and we're still having that issue amongst one another where, you know, a lighter skinned girl got it better than a dark skinned girl. It's like, huh?
And because we're still on that field Negro and the house Negro.
But they don't realize
it's a DNA thing that has not been.
The crazy thing about it, even though we were in the house, we were getting raped, we were getting beaten, and all of that other stuff.
But if you didn't live in a house, you didn't know that that's what was going on. You didn't, believe that that's what was going on in the house. You would, you know.
Right.
At the same token, I'm still an N-word in other people's eyes.
Yeah, we're all.
But you know what? Going back to the whole media thing, a lot of times it's not even white media that portrays us in a certain light. It's our own media. So like you have the rap videos that might have a certain skin tone. I kind of cringed the other day when they were playing Pop Smoke's whole album on his birthday, or it was a couple days before his birthday. They played his whole album, and I was listening to parts of it in my car as I was driving for work. And there's this one song where in his chorus, it talks about how he wants a red bone and a yellow bone. And I'm like, come on now, we still doing this?
Right.
They need to stop. They need to stop, because there's so many dark-skinned, pretty little girls that are home and listening to music like that, and that automatically lets them know, oh, I'm not pretty enough to be with a rapper.
Right. It gives them that idea that I'm not pretty enough, and I can never understand why. Like, what makes you think that the complexion makes a difference on, you could get with a dark skinned girl that's a you know what, you could get with a high yellow girl that's a you know what. Her complexion means nothing.
But that's when they say, oh, these are exotic looking chicks, or
oh my gosh,
the whole hair.
Wasn't there that thing with 50 Cent. What's his name?
I just said, okay, 50.
Curtis. You mean Curtis?
Yeah, the one who still needs to be on his mama's puppies. God rest her soul. But anyway, what does that mean?
But see, that's the conditioning. We're all guilty of it, but some of us are more aware, or we catch ourselves when we have those underlying thoughts, and some of us catch ourselves, but some of us don't, because we're just so conditioned to think, like you're conditioned to think body movement is sexual instead of tribal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You speak with your body.
Exactly.
Your body, you tell a story with your body. And
dancing is done for everything in Africa.
I don't care where you go, where you find us.
A funeral, you dancing.
Right.
You speak with your body. Yeah. Your body tells the story.
When we came over here and they had to beat out every type of symbolism or any type of connection to your homeland, we had to do it on the low. We had to be us on the low. So that's what we're still doing today. And I applaud Beyonce in the brown skin girl video. She had the darker hued women.
Yes.
And it's crazy. Growing up, I wish I was dark skinned. I still say this today. I was like, I hate being light skinned. I love where I came from. I love my people and stuff. Why do I always got to be depicted as this stuck up stush girl and all of this?
You know what it is? You know what it is, Yvette?
Wish that they were your complexion, because they were always made to feel other. You know, the paper bag test and all of those crazy things that were done. You know, darker skinned women has been going for so many years. Your original skin tone is beauty. Thick lips, big eyes, darker hue. Do you not see that people actually pay to be darker shades?
What we were
People
told
get
was ugly,
Botox.
they are
People
doing
get
now.
Botox to get fuller lips. Like all of those things that you thought were ugly about yourself. Not everybody's running to do it. So doesn't that tell you?
And making a coin off of it.
The beauty was in you the entire time.
You know, I remember, I'm not going to say his name, but it's a host of a morning show years ago when Fantasia won. And I remember we were calling every day on American Idol.
Yes,
so Fantasia could win. And this radio host was like, I'm so happy Fantasia won. He said, but she ain't going to make it after this. And the person was like, the co-host was like, why? And he was like, because she dark-skinned. So he's like, because she dark-skinned, she ain't gonna make it.
Time has showed us that has been an issue. If you notice in a lot of groups, they always put the certain looking girl in the front.
Beyonce's father was guilty of that.
Yeah.
And he said that about Kelly. You heard when he said a year ago, when he said the reason why Kelly doesn't do well is indirectly, he said because of her complexion. He said she does well in Australia.
But it's true, and it's been true for so many years that.
And you know what? Let me say something. And this is where I have an issue with our Black men, because our Black men are supposed to be our kings. And they're not happy with themselves. I have no problems with interracial marriages. I really don't. I actually applaud when I see a Black woman with opposite culture, and he gets mad at me. Why would you say that? Because I know that the male that she's with, he had to go through a lot of drama to have this Black woman on his arm. I remember one time we went out to the sugar factory, and this Asian dude had a dark-skinned woman with dreads holding his baby, and she had a ring on her finger. And I know that Asian dude probably got a lot of flack from his mama for bringing this Black woman with some dreads in her hair. You know there was an issue. Now, meanwhile, our men don't get flack from us. Well, no, they don't really get flack from the Black culture. They get applauded. Oh, you got that exotic bitch on your arms, blah, 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 blah. They don't get as much flack as they would when the other men from other cultures have us on their arms. So.
No, it's true.
Well, we do know that interracial marriage is legally how many years old?
I know. It ain't that old.
True.
It ain't that old.
We could go there, but that's a whole nother
show. Let's understand that in 1965, you couldn't be married to a Black person.
You were white.
Well, a Black person could be married to a white person. So that's like 50 years old. Legally, you can be married to, like, interracial marriages was made legal like 50 years ago.
We 3 seconds out of slavery. You know what I'm saying?
Still
3 days ago.
But going back, you know what? Going back to the Africans, I want to say something. You know, when
God never came and got us.
Yeah. So let's talk about how when Mel Gibson had made Passion of the Christ, there was a lot of flack from the Jews. They were deemed as the ones.
The Jewish community.
Yes. So my whole thing is the Africans never got flack for selling us. No one, like, we're blaming the culture of the white people, the ancestry of the white people, of how their forefathers had us enslaved, but it's never been discussed how we were actually sold from our own people.
No, that has always been a discussion.
But not the way it should be. Because you know why? You know why I say that? Because the Africans that are mad, they would have a little more compassion for us. They would. If they knew that their forefathers...
Slavery is still going on now in Africa. So slavery is not anything new.
And it isn't something that doesn't exist anymore. So
I know. I know.
Indentured servitude and conquering a nation and you taking their people as, you know, your indentured servants or slaves. That's something that has always been around.
It was around before the
But the American slavery and the heinous, evil, downright inhumane treatment that they made for us. If anybody did sell us over in Africa, I don't think they thought that this was going to happen over in America. I don't think they thought that this level of evil was going to come from that and for this many centuries.
Can you imagine that we're still living through this?
Yeah.
It's still a discussion.
In 2020.
It's still a discussion. I'm approaching 50, and something that I learned as a child, I've actually grown up to experience and witness. Yep. And so I've experienced some of the stories that my father told me.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is that?
Like, not for nothing, when I was protesting during the protest and everything, we were almost tear gassed. And I was just like, yo, this is what happened how many years ago? And
the king and them.
Tear gassed. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. But the fact that we have to have the activists now, the fact that we have to have like some of the Tamika Mallory's now, is just like, I didn't never expect that. Like, I'm always thinking, I'm like, oh, my mom and grandmom,
they did that so we didn't have to.
Yeah, they did all of that already, you know? So I'm good, but it's just like, yo, I'm like, now in children, I'm just like, I thought we were past this now.
And now you got a generation of Nuck if you book.
Yeah.
I
wish a Negro would.
I wish a Negro
Tell
would.
me I can't drink from some fountain.
Stay tuned for scenes from part 2 of our discussion on Black is King and the Black diaspora.
Oh, how beautiful a Liberian girl is.
We had Naomi Campbell.
Yes.
And
who was with him when he went to court? The Fruits of Islam.
Right.